Okay, let's quickly go over how we can differentiate this given question. So you quickly notice that this is coming from the cos inverse of x. And if you try to do the differential of the cos inverse of x with respect to x, what you get is dx dx. This is what you're going to get, the square root of, and there will be a negative here, 1 minus x squared. So you're basically differentiating what is inside the cos inverse and bringing it down here and squaring it again. And this will simplify to going to simplify to negative 1 over 1 minus x squared. Okay, so now this is the concept that we are building upon. So we are given cos inverse of 1 minus x over 1 plus x. So if we take the differential of this, what we're going to get is going to be, firstly, we need to differentiate what is inside the brackets, inside the cos inverse. And what is inside the cos inverse is 1 minus x over 1 plus x. Then we are dividing this by, there is a negative in front, we're dividing this by 1 minus 1 x over 1 plus x and squared. Okay, so firstly we need to deal with this part, and we're going to call this the top part our u, the bottom part our v. And we know that when we differentiate that, what we're going to get is u is going to be u prime v minus v prime u over v squared. So we've already identified our u to be equal to 1 minus x and our v to be equal to 1 plus x. So we just need to differentiate this. Differentiating u, which is u prime, is going to be negative 1. Differentiating v, which is v prime, is going to be 1. Okay, so if we replace here, what are we getting? We are getting 1 we're getting negative 1 multiplied with v, which is 1 plus x, minus 1 multiplied with u, which is 1 minus x, and we're dividing this by v, which is 1 plus x. We're squaring this, and this is going to simplify to what are we going to get? Okay, so basically I can see that this one and this one will cancel, even if I haven't even expanded this, and you get a negative 2 on top over 1 plus x squared. Okay, so this is what we are getting, and replacing here. Okay, so let's do that. Right, let me remove this. Okay, so we're saying that this is going to be equal to, remember there was a negative on the outside, this negative, we bring it, negative 2 over 1 plus x squared, that over the square root of 1 minus 1 minus x over 1 plus x. And this is squared. Okay, so you quickly notice that this one and this one will cancel. So basically what we're just going to have will be this. Okay, so I noticed that most of you were leaving your answers somewhere here, which is not the right thing to do. You shouldn't leave your answer somewhere here, no. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to simplify further. So we have our 2 and 1 plus x squared. Now let's deal with what is inside the square root. So what we are going to do with part that is inside the square root is we're going to do this. We're going to write it like this. Okay. Once we write it like that, we're going to do cross multiplication. Assume that there's a 1 down there. So you're going to have negative, you're going to have 1 plus x squared minus 1 minus x squared like that, and this is going to be over 1 plus x squared. Okay, that's what we're going to have. And we're going to do the same thing we just did here. Same thing we did here is what we're going to do to the square root. So basically, we're going to make the square root on the top part like this, even on the bottom part. This is one and the same thing. When you have a over b inside the square root, you can write it as a root a over root b. It's one and the same thing. So what you're going to notice is that this 2 and the square root are going to cancel. So this one is going to cancel. And another thing that you notice is that this one and the squared here they are going to cancel. So this part disappears and you just remain with this. You can do the division, but as it's supposed to be done, or you can just use the shortcut that I've used. If you know your mathematics correctly, you can just do the mathematics that I've done. Okay, so we know that this can be written as 2 over, this one can drop down here. This can be 1 plus x, the square root over 1 plus x squared minus 1 minus x squared. Okay, so we have 2. Now we need to deal with what is inside the square root. So let me move this here. So what you are going to have, if you expand what is inside the square root, you have 1 plus 2x plus x squared minus 1 minus 2x plus x squared. Okay, so that's what you're going to have. So let's notice the things that will cancel here. Find that this one and this one will cancel. What else? What else? This one and this one will cancel. When we distribute the negative and multiply it with what is inside the brackets, this one will become positive basically. So what we're going to have is we're going to have 2 over 1 plus x square root 2x plus 2x, which is just going to give you 4x. Okay. And we know that we can remove the 4 from the square root, which will give us 2. So it will be 2 over 1 plus x 2 root x. And we will notice that these 2 and these 2 can cancel. And this will just basically give us 1 over root x. If I decide to write this one in the front, x plus 1. That is going to be your final answer. So that is d dx of cos inverse 1. It was 1 what? Okay, 1 minus x. 1 minus x over 1 plus x. So that is the answer.